Hi everyone, so today we're going to learn how to install some motors. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to follow the official Clawbot instructions on how they install their motors, and then I'm going to go through how I usually install motors on my own robots for competition. Okay, so yeah, let's get started. I have the instruction booklet here, and basically it tells me for me to take this big piece, and then to get these two bearings here, and then also prepare a 4-inch shaft with a shaft collar on it. Just put it there, so. Alright. So basically we have to use the special motor screws. You see that they're special because they have the little blue part on them that's Loctite. It's like a little chemical that helps the screw not get unscrewed as easily, so your motors won't fall off during competition. So make sure that you're using these type of screws to screw in the motors, and yeah. So I'm just gonna put in these guys into the metal piece. I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up. Alright. And it tells me to put in this guy into the bearing. So yeah, and then you just make sure that the bearings, again, all the little parts are into the C-channel holes, and just stick your little screwdriver in and have it there, and just start screwing it in. Sorry about that. You'll notice that also the motor has these little metal parts. Those should also be in the C-channel holes, so they shouldn't be sticking out. Just screw it in little by little. If it doesn't match up exactly, just, unscrew a little bit, reposition, and in. What else do we have to do? Oh, so we have to use one of these spacers. Basically you want to put these spacers in between so that when you screw in the longer screw, it's not going to compress the C-channel. This is the wrong length. It's a 0.5 inch, so it hits a 0.5 inch. Yeah. So just put it in there and bring your longer screw, the 1.5 inch screw, and just put it in. You'll notice it also has the Loctite, so make sure to use that. Camera focus. Yeah. Screw it in again. And it tells you to repeat on the other side, but since it's basically the same, just symmetrical, I'm not going to be doing that. And yeah, that's how they want you to basically screw in the motors. I guess it's okay, but honestly, for competition, you don't really see these pieces being used commonly, just because they're not really that common, because mostly we just use C-channels. These are C-channels. These are the general length and types of pieces that we use. These really big ones are a little more rarely seen because they only come in certain lengths, and yeah, so I'm just going to be using a C-channel for what we usually use in competition. And yeah, I'll just take this apart since I didn't bring enough parts with me, but this will be fast forwarded. Alrighty then. So now I'm gonna be doing what I usually do for competition to install motors. So what I usually do is, again, take the motor and another piece. Well, first I'm gonna do the axle actually. What I like to do is, again, use the rubber shaft collar because sometimes you need to pull the axle out and do things with it. So I don't really like using that metal shaft collar for that because sometimes when you spin the axle, the little screw part of the shaft collar can get really hard to access. So the slidey rubber shaft collars make it really easy to access because it just slides in and on and off without really having to deal with the angling of a little screw or something. So yeah, I usually just use this. And since we see that the motor has this really big square hole and a little square hole in the middle, the big square hole is for the high strength axle. It's really thick and that's why it's high strength and it fits into there. But since we're using the normal strength axles for today, I'm gonna be putting in a gear insert because that's what I like to do to make it a little more stable. Because you'll see that if I put it in right now, it rattles a little bit, and I find that when I'm programming my robot to go straight, it won't go as straight as if it would have been if it was tighter. So what I usually like to do is put in one of these gear inserts into the little piece like so, and then just put the axle in there as well, and then you'll see that it rattles less. So it, less possible motion makes the robot go straighter. And also I usually like to put a little spacer in between so that this rubber shaft collar won't move around. Yeah, so basically you do the same thing, you just put it flush against the metal like so, and then you place one of these bearings into them and just start screwing it in. For this, you just need to use the shorter ones because, it's just a piece of metal in between that and the motor, so you don't really need a long screw. Again, just make sure that everything is into each other. There shouldn't be any visible gaps for it to be screwed in correctly, so just be aware of that. Just make sure they're screwed in tight. And so yeah, that's how I usually install motors for competition, because I find that it limits the amount of possible motion the axle could have and also keeps everything in place really well. And yeah.